The perfect time to try G Fuel is now, because for a limited time, there is a buy one get one anime special sale right now. They've had a collab with Dragon Ball Z for quite some time, so naturally I picked up the Kamehameha flavor and the Evil Emperor flavor, because as you know, Frieza is my favorite villain. Each tub has 40 servings of G Fuel. Great taste, zero sugar, zero crash, so you don't get that annoying jittery feeling. Gives you the clean energy you need to keep you laser focused throughout the day. And there's plenty of anime themed and Dragon Ball themed flavors for you to try. So there's no better time than right now to take advantage of this buy one get one offer. Click the link in the description right now and take advantage of G Fuel's anime offer. You won't regret it, and I thank them for sponsoring this video. A little while ago, Quaman over on his YouTube channel did a video called What If Captain Ginyu Stole Frieza's Body, discussing a scenario in which Captain Ginyu used the body change technique to take the body of his master, his leader, and possibly even rule the Empire while masking as Frieza. It's a story that I think has intrigued a few fans, because throughout the years that I've been in the fandom, I've seen people talk about this. Like, why didn't Captain Ginyu just take Frieza's body or King Cold's body and assume control of the Empire? So he did his what if. I'm going to talk about within the series and actually answer the question as to why Captain Ginyu did not steal Frieza's body. First and foremost, I want to tell you that I've already done a technique guide on the body change technique on the Geekdom 101 channel in the technique guide, so make sure you check that out, because not only do I go into how this technique actually works, but I also discuss what would happen if Captain Ginyu changed bodies with a fusion. That's been a question that I've seen asked thousands of times. It's one that gets asked over and over again because inquiring minds want to know what would happen. Like, what would happen when the fusion ends? It's a good question. I answered it in that video, but I did not answer why Captain Ginyu did not take Frieza's body. So first and foremost, I think the first reason, the main reason as to why it didn't happen, is a matter of respect. Captain Ginyu, during his fight with Goku, shows that unlike a lot of members of the Frieza Empire, he's a bit more of a fair fighter. Notice I said a bit more, because ultimately, once he realizes that Goku, utilizing Kaioken, can hit 6 figures of power levels far beyond what he can hit, at that point is when he chooses to change bodies with Goku, whereas prior to that, he wanted to have a fair fight with Goku one-on-one. Don't forget that even his number one guy, Chase, Geese, in the Japanese version, tried to interfere, and Ginyu got mad at him. So he only wants to have a fair fight until he realizes he can't win. But still, so many other members of Frieza's army aren't that noble. And because of that, it feels like Captain Ginyu has a tremendous amount of respect and loyalty to Frieza, that he's okay with Frieza being his leader because he respects him, he follows him, he does not want to in any way piss him off, knowing how powerful Frieza is, as well as the whole Empire being behind him. And that is one big reason as to why Captain Ginyu, even though he may have been able to do it, did not switch bodies with Frieza. Now, that actually brings me to my next point, and that is, could Captain Ginyu actually change bodies with Frieza? And although we never actually witnessed that scenario happen in the series, outside of course, video games, where Captain Ginyu is playable, and in most video games, you can use the body change move on anybody, and it'll work, even if it's just temporarily. I think, if you were to ask me, I think the body change technique would work on Frieza. Based on the fact that he does it to not only Goku, but later on a frog, and to his own body, it does kind of feel like this technique has no limitations as far as the power of the other person or the race of the other person. Captain Ginyu becomes a Saiyan and then becomes a frog. Totally different races. So why would Frieza's race be any different? I do think that it would work. As far as power goes, obviously Frieza, even in his first form, is supremely more powerful than Captain Ginyu. No argument with that one. But So is Goku. Goku in Kaioken was stronger than Captain Ginyu. Maybe not as strong as Frieza, but still stronger. So the body change move, when Captain Ginyu initiates the technique, it's very hard for the victim to actually move. This is, of course, discussed in more detail in the technique guide where I go into this a bit more. But if Captain Ginyu were to change bodies with Frieza, or at least attempt to use the body change, there's no reason why it wouldn't work. Frieza would not be too strong for it based on the principles of the form that we see him use in the series. So, with that context, Frieza's race and power level should have nothing to do with whether or not Ginyu could execute the technique. Now, another reason as to why he probably wouldn't change bodies with him is because of the fact that Captain Ginyu was one of Frieza's closest henchmen, and he may be one of the few people in the Empire that know that Frieza has multiple transformations. So perhaps Captain Ginyu knows that even if he were to change bodies with Frieza, he might get the power of whatever form Frieza happened to be in when he changed the body. It does not mean he would know how to properly transform or change his form accordingly. Now, of course, that begs the question, well, what if Frieza actually confronted Captain Ginyu in his final form? Would there be any reason for him not to switch bodies? Honestly, there wouldn't be. And I feel like Captain Ginyu at that point might actually be an opportunist, but that goes back to our first point, which is, of course, respect. He has admiration and respect for Frieza. He's okay with Frieza being immortal, even if it means that his own job might be on the line, because he may not be as useful to Frieza as he would be prior to Frieza being immortal. He's still super loyal, and the truth is that not everybody in existence, both in the Dragon Ball world and in the real world, is a rebel. Some people are okay being somebody else's subordinate. They're okay with having a boss. And obviously, Ginyu thinks he's on the winning side because Frieza's empire is vast and wealthy, and really nobody could match up to him until Goku showed up. So it makes sense. However, you must remember that the opportunity to change bodies with Frieza in his final form may be too good to be true, because Frieza himself states that nobody has even seen him in his final form except for his own parents. It's implied that prior to the fight with Goku, that it was years, if not decades, since Frieza transformed into that. So Ginyu may have never had the chance to, but even if he did, do you think he would have actually made the switch? Or do you think he's too loyal to ever cross Master Frieza? I leave that up to you to comment down below and tell me why. Thank you for watching, and I'll catch you in the next video.